Alrighty, everybody, let's go ahead and get started.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys for taking time out of your day this afternoon to be with us. We are here to talk about adult day care, or like we like to call adult day program, and how this service can benefit you and your loved one.
We would like to make sure that this is an interactive program. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask us and we will be happy to share with you.
Okay, we'll start with introductions. So my name is Jessica Lager and I'm from Albuquerque, local. I'm very passionate about serving seniors in our community, and it holds a very special place in my heart. My grandmother had dementia for 18 very long years, and I was one of her primary caregivers. So going through that process, I realized that there was a lack of services or shortage of services here in Albuquerque specifically. And so that's kind of how I got involved in the adult day program arena. I started Mayberry Senior Services adult day program about 5 years ago. Love our program, love our people. I received my degree from UNM in biology, and I am also a certified dementia practitioner.
I am Risa Vallano, and I am Jessica Lager's right-hand girl, and I love that I have a place where I can share the same passion I have about elderly and about seniors and about dementia. I am also a dementia certified practitioner, and am very passionate about making sure that this generation still has a place where they feel belonging and loved.
Awesome. Okay, we'll get right into it. So what is adult daycare? So just to start off, federally, the term is called adult daycare. We're not a huge fan of that term, obviously, feel maybe it's a little demeaning. So we like to use the term adult day program, senior club, senior center, those types of things is the terminology that we use. By definition, as you can see on the slide, is an adult daycare center is typically a non-residential facility that supports the health, nutritional, social, and daily living needs of adults in a professionally staffed group setting. And so it's very similar to a community center or a senior center that you can go to, but typically adult day programs will have extra assistance and care for those people that are in attendance. Community centers, people can come and go as they please. Most people are very independent. There's really no oversight from the staff. They don't really know your name. It's just a group gathering opportunity. But for those individuals that need a higher level of care, for example, someone who might have dementia, it's a great program where the loved one can drop off their loved one and get a much needed break for themselves, but also there's several benefits for the individual attending the program, which we'll get into further here as we talk today. day. Typically, adult day programs will have better trained staff, so there are staffing requirements. They're more familiar with how to work with individuals that may have dementia or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease, maybe folks recovering from a stroke, or those seniors who are just home alone and isolated and really need some social interaction and engagement. Additional care could also include assistance with medication delivery. If they're licensed with Board of Pharmacy, they can assist with the medications, possibly assistance in the restroom. So if your loved one does need help in the bathroom, including undergarment changes, that is something that the staff could be trained on. Again, every center could be a little different. So these are the type of questions that you would ask when interviewing an adult day program. Most adult day programs also provide some type of meal, whether that be breakfast and or lunch, and then some snacks throughout the day. The program may be licensed or unlicensed. Again, it just depends. All the programs are typically going to be independent. And to say that a program is licensed would mean that there's additional oversight by the state of New Mexico, Department of Health, and or the Board of Pharmacy.
Exactly. And I know that you, Jessica, used the word respite. So what respite means is that that is a term where the primary caregiver gets to have that break. They get to have the break to do things that they would like to do, whether it be self-care like going to lunch, going to a movie, or something as simple as taking a bath or going to the grocery store by themselves. Respite is just another term that is used for allowing the primary caregiver to be able to have that break. There are different ways that you can use an adult day program. It could be transitional care, whether that be coming out of, like it says, rehabilitation center, or maybe it's coming from the hospital to home or an assisted living to home. Basically, this is just the other alternative where you want your loved ones to be able to be home with you, and you're not ready to give them to an assisted living or a residential care. This is a great medium alternative for both of you to be able to have that.
I just also want to add on the family caregiver side is the benefit of respite to add is talking about that importance of the family caregiver to get a break, a much needed break. So for example, recharging your batteries. That's a term that you might hear is you need to recharge your batteries and take time for yourself in order to care for another person. Something else is a term we use is you can't pour from an empty cup. So if your cup is empty, there's nothing left for you to give. Often we'll use the example of when you're flying, you're going to hear a flight attendant that's going to say, please secure your own oxygen mask prior to securing your loved one so that you ensure that you're going to continue and can maintain. And that's a very similar thing in terms of having respite, utilizing help and adult daycare programs to assist you and get you that much needed break.
Exactly. Along those lines, it's a very unfortunate and probably pretty surprising ratio, but over 50% of caretakers end up passing before the loved one that they're taking care of. And that's mainly due because they pour so much into taking care of the other person that they're not taking care of themselves. And so it's very, very important to do that self-care. The other thing is that when you are in an adult day program, you typically get more individualized care. So if you were in an assisted living or a nursing home, the ratio may be like 1 to 15. Typically in an adult daycare, it's 1 to 5. So we're able to meet them where they're at and be able to personalize their level of care.
Also adding in terms of that is typically there's a less turnover we find in adult day programs across the country. So again, there's that continuity of care. And also it's just, you want to talk about affordability. It's much more affordable to have your loved one in an adult day program as opposed to assisted living. So it's kind of that medium between you can do it all on your own, don't really need much of a break, and then you're starting to feel like you're getting run down or could use a little bit of a break. That's where it'd be a great time to find an adult day program in your area so that they can assist you. Again, it is going to be a lot more affordable. Most assisted livings here in New Mexico are going to average between $5,000 and $6,000 a month. Typically, that's going to be out of pocket because that is not covered by Medicare or your insurance. unless you have long-term care insurance, which is a great service, but a lot of people don't have access to that. So again, every program is going to vary, but often a full-time person attending an adult day program, it might be around $2,400 to come full-time. That's between 40 and 50 hours a month, as opposed to $5,000 to $6,000 a month in an assisted living.
Exactly. And along those lines, a lot of the adult day programs allow you to do half days or to do once or twice a month. They allow you to make your own schedule so that it is convenient for you. They allow that because they want to make sure that this is not a place where your loved one is going because they need to be there, but it's a place that their loved one is going because it will benefit both the loved one and you as the caretaker as well.
Okay. Wonderful. If you guys have any questions, let us know or put them down in the chat box. We'll be happy to answer as we go through this.
If there are no questions right now, I think we'll move on to the next slide.
So again, families and caregivers in need of respite. So who is this? Who are these individuals? So what we're looking at is typically adult children that are caring for their parent. So whether they have one or two parents that they need assistance with, often adult children caring for their parents, you're going to hear that term sandwich generation. And so often this adult child, the sandwich generation, is going to be meaning that they're still they're caring for their parents, but they're also caring for their children, whether they're small children or still in school, or even, as we all know, we have kids that are adults that still need assistance and guidance. And so there's a lot of responsibility on that adult child who's caring for their children, caring for their parents, and possibly are also working at that same time. So it's just really overextends that individual. Spouse is caring for a spouse. So we have a lot of individuals where a husband is caring for his wife or a wife is caring for their husband. And again, just needs that little bit of a break to recharge their batteries. This could also be a family or friend that's carrying someone, or a neighbor that's caring for someone. So really, as any kind of caregiver that's caring for an individual, whether it be in their home or in someone else's home, is typically going to be those folks that should be looking at adult day programs as a great resource for them.
Exactly. That resource is so good. Again, not just for the individual who is attending, but to be able to do some self-care for the ones who are doing the caregiving. We did get a few questions. What types of schedules do you have available at your center? Most centers can be flexible. It's usually typically a Monday through Friday thing. It's kind of banker's hours, but again, the family gets to make their schedule the way that they would want it. So that is nice. And also please repeat the average of cost for adult daycare. That's typically around $2,400 a month if you are full-time, which is about maybe even 1/3 of what you're looking at for an assisted living or a nursing home. And if there are no more questions for this slide, we'll go ahead and move on.
Okay. So moving on in, so how will you benefit? You as the caregiver, how are you going to benefit from using an adult day program? So we talked about respite. We've kind of talked about getting a break for yourself, recharging your own batteries. Really, there's that peace of mind that you're taking your loved one to a program that your loved one is going to get individualized attention. They're going to get that social interaction they need. There's going to be a lot of benefits for the person attending, but also for yourself. And you know that they're in a safe place. That's going to be your loved one could be well cared for. There's the ability to have your loved one remain at home. So as we'd mentioned, it's a great alternative, or that step before having to place your loved one in an assisted living center and or a nursing home. It might allow you to keep them at home for a longer period of time, and more affordable than that next level of care. Support. We talk about having support for the family caregiver. So we're here to support you, as well as the loved one, your loved one that has dementia. So it's an emotional and a mental support. So kind of a whole package, serving the whole family, making sure that you're getting the resources that you need. Adult day programs typically are going to be very well plugged in with their community and should be able to also offer you additional resources that may be available in the community, outside of adult day programs. So that's another, just to have access to that community of resources.
Exactly. Those are all very good things. We did just get a comment, which was something that Jessica and myself all week were like, please be super cognizant about. We will slow down. We just get very excited about this resource. We
Yep.
get very excited about the ability to be able to keep your loved one at home while still engaging them. So yes, thank you for reminding us of that.
Yes.
We will slow down. It is very important for a caretaker to take some time for themselves and to focus on things that they would like to do. And whether that means running an errand to the grocery store without worrying where your loved one is, or being able to go out to lunch with a friend, or being able to be vulnerable to somebody in your family about what you're going through. It is a transition. It's very hard to go from whatever your title may have been to a caretaker. We understand that that is that's a big mountain to overcome. You still want to be there, you still want to love them, but as they're transitioning, you're transitioning too. So most adult day programs allow you to kind of have that space to be able to do that. And self-care may consist of things like exercise, social times, quality sleep is so important. Doctor's appointments. I know for a lot of us, we put all of that off because we want to put whoever we're taking care of in front of that, and that's their priority, which is fantastic, but we need to make sure that we have a good foundation. And sometimes it's not something that has to be so outside the box. Like if you are not getting enough sleep, if you're not sleeping very well, there are a couple things you can do. Banana tea is a great thing for you and the person that you're taking care of. You can boil the peel of the banana for about 8 to 10 minutes, strain it, drink that, and it's going to help both of you calm down. You can do things like if you're getting impatient or you're feeling overwhelmed, you can do a box exercise. I think I'm probably going to do that with you right now because it only takes about 30 seconds. So you breathe in for 4, hold it, let go for 4, and you repeat that. And that's something that you can do that is going to ground you again and balance you again so that you can go back to the loved one and be in a different space. One thing about people who have any kind of cognitive problems is that they will mirror you. And so mirroring you, if you can relax yourself and you can put on a smile, even if you're faking it to make it, we know that happens, but if you can do that, they will do that along with you and it will help both of you move along.
We also have a couple of questions in the chat. Is there any group that rates the various adult care centers or other suggestions of how to select one? To my knowledge, there is not a group that rates adult day programs or adult day centers, but what I would recommend if I'm looking for one for my loved one is to look at the reviews. So whether they have a website, I would go to Google. There's a variety of them, but you could look at their website and see what kind of reviews. Often families will leave reviews for them. So that's a place that I would look. They may or may not have a Facebook page. A lot of times people will make comments on there. Another great thing is touring. So if you're searching for an adult daycare center for your loved one, is I would recommend you go and you tour the center before you start. Ask the important questions of what's important to you. Can they administer meds if that's something that your loved one might need while they're attending? Does your loved one need assistance in the restroom? And is that something, how does the staff handle that? You can ask about staff training. You can also ask that adult daycare center for referrals of other family members who may have attended their program. So just maybe some ideas outside the box. And another question is do you help families apply for Medicaid to cover cost? Unfortunately, this is not something we're an expert at since our program specifically doesn't accept Medicaid, but I would recommend here in New Mexico, you look at the Office of Senior Affairs. They, I believe, are able to assist in that, as well as there's several groups that also provide insurance information like Medicaid and Medicare. That could be something you could Google that they might be able to assist you with. And there are programs throughout the state that do accept Medicaid for adult day care programs. To my knowledge at this time, there are none that accept Medicare, which is very unfortunate, and hopefully that would change in the future. But as of right now, Medicare typically does not cover adult daycare programs.
Exactly. Can you repeat the max number of hours you could receive for approximately $2,500 a month? Obviously, that probably will fluctuate depending on what adult daycare you're at. But typically $2,500 a month is going to get you about 40 hours a week, which is again, very cost effective. But also at the same time, it is going to be something that is going to benefit both you and who your loved one is with.
These are great questions. Keep them coming.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. Please let us know if you have any other questions in the chat.
Okay, so we talked previously about what benefits will you as a caregiver experience, and now we're going to focus a little bit about what benefits your loved one, the person with dementia, will experience from an adult daycare program. So first and foremost is purpose. We're firm believers that having purpose, just as human beings, it adds quality of life. It keeps you more engaged. It gives you a purpose to get out of bed every morning. And so I think it's really important that when you're looking for an adult day program, that would be something that maybe a question you might ask them when you're touring is about purpose. How do they do that? I know our history, like we look for opportunities to get people engaged or involved with one another. So for example, if we're doing geography, some individuals are further along in the process with dementia and some are not. Some are higher functioning and some are lower functioning. And so it gives that opportunity for maybe someone who's higher functioning, if you're going through saying, where's California? Maybe they know right away where California is, but maybe the person sitting next to them doesn't. So it really gives them that purpose to say, hey, let me show you where California is. It also helps jog memories. So, hey, who's been to California before? Who lived there? Who's been to the beach? And it really creates opportunity to connect, to socialize, and to open up those memories and access those memories from the past, which is what we're trying to do. So purpose, I think, is huge. It's key, and it really dictates the quality of our lives. We talk about socialization, for example. So the opportunity to socialize, again, human beings, we're very social creatures typically by nature. And so I think it's just an opportunity to connect with another person. So whether that be other individuals in the program or connect with the staff, there's really that's a key term in terms of, again, quality of life is the opportunity to socialize with one another. Some of our folks who have dementia who come to our program, you would be amazed at how they actually remember their friend's name, or they remember that they're going to wear a name badge, or they remember where the restroom is. And so they're it's mind-boggling to me, but it's really interesting and wonderful to see the connections and the friendships that they do make at the programs. Cognitive exercises. So again, for our folks with dementia, often daycare programs are going to really focus on a lot of cognitive exercises. This includes things like proverbs or brain games. Everything we do has a purpose. So again, if you're an adult day program and they're doing an activity, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. It's not that you're just playing a game. They might be working on fine motor skills. They might be working on gross motor skills. There's a lot of, again, cognitive components that go into that activity that the group is doing. The benefits of physical exercise. Again, often day programs will incorporate a daily exercise into their program. This often will be a seated exercise. It might include a yoga or a stretching. But again, it increases that blood flow to the body, increases blood flow to the brain. It helps with core strength. It helps with balance, which again is going to help prevent your individual from having a fall possibly in the future. So just overall increasing their strength by doing those physical movements and physical exercises. Risa, do you want to continue on?
Yes, absolutely. So the next thing we want to talk about is the feeling of belonging to a community. You know, we all want to feel like we belong. We all want to be at the cool kids table. We all want something that's ours that has meaning to us. And so in most of the adult day programs, they try very hard to, Jess was talking about being purposeful about everything that they're doing, that we have hand-eye coordination and those fine motor skills and vocabulary and team building and social skills. But at the same time, it even comes down to like the friendships that we're forming, and it comes down to the bonds that we're creating. We know when she said that they can come in and remember their friends' faces and sometimes names. It's this beautiful community that they have been able to create because they're all kind of on the same page. They're in the same boat, and it's finally a place where they don't feel embarrassed or as much anxiety. So if you're in a good adult day program, you know that the staff and coming down from the very head is going to be able to create a culture to where they feel like they are being set up for success and nothing less than that. And at the same time, it's still a healthy environment. You know, adult daycares now are very, very making sure that they are doing all of the things that they can do to make sure that they have all of their COVID procedures in line. They're making sure that all of their family members are very safe and that they are taken care of. But really, it comes down to the quality of life. When they come into an adult program doors, they want to feel that warmth, like they are in their second home, like they are in their element, like this is a place where they are going to be able to flourish. And so I think that that is something that is extremely valuable. And most adult day programs are very intentful on making sure that that is what's happening while they're there. We did get another question that talks about, do adult daycares help with transportation? Some of them may, the majority of them probably don't have that set up yet. However, there are different things that you can do, especially if you're in the Albuquerque or surrounding area. The Sun Van is something that you might want to look into. Most of the Sun Van rides are free. At the most you'll pay is like $2 a ride. So very, very reasonable. The Department of Senior Affairs also has a bus that you can utilize. And they are also very reliable. Both of those programs are a door-to-door program. So they will pick your loved one up at your door. They make sure that they are safe and in the vehicle. They make sure they get to where you're going safely and that they are safe within those doors as well. So those are some other resources for you when it comes to transportation. I know Jessica and myself have both talked about the Department of Senior Affairs more than once. So I will slow down for a second and give you the number. The number for the Department of Senior Affairs is 505-764-6400. Again, 764-6400.
And that is a 505 area code for that number.
Thank you.
There is another in the Q&A chat. When looking for a center, what kind of background should the personnel have? I think, again, it depends on what you're looking for. So specifically, if you're caring for your loved one with dementia, I would be asking, what kind of experience? Do you have any credentials working with an individual with dementia? Does your staff receive any kind of training specific to individuals with dementia? I would ask about how they redirect. I think redirection is critical when talking about working with individuals with dementia. If you're caring for someone who has Parkinson's, then your questions may be a little bit different. Here in New Mexico, we have regulations. Those programs that are licensed do have to follow adult daycare regulations, and they do require 40 hours of training every year, and 20 hours of those training need to be specific to senior care and issues that may come up in the senior community. So that I would also ask about staff turnover. So in other words, do they have a lot of staff turnover? How many tenured employees do they have? I personally feel that when you walk into an adult daycare center, you can kind of just feel the energy or the vibe of the place. I think that that's something that's important to be in tune with. And then also that they have a director and or manager that does a good job directing and guiding the program throughout the day. I think is some key things that I would ask if I were looking for my loved one. There's another question in the chat saying, is there a website that lists local daycare centers? Again, to my knowledge, there's not a one stop. There's pieces of them that are everywhere, but depending on what area or what region you're in, I would just use Google. I would just Google adult daycare near me and see what comes up. So if you're in the Albuquerque or possibly Farmington or Las Cruces, just depending on what region you're in, you can just Google very generically and it's going to bring up a list. You can also talk to our folks at the Alzheimer's Association, that they are connected and are able to speak to the local resources in your region. So I really would use them as an excellent resource, is accessing the Alzheimer's Association for daycare resources, but also any additional resources that you may need in caring for your loved one.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing that. So here are some examples of what you might see in an adult day center: socialization. And that's going to just be like icebreaker stuff. Like a lot of adult daycares will say, have you ever ridden a train? Tell me about a time that you gardened. Tell me about a time that you laughed hysterically, whatever it may be. They try to engage that socialization again so that they can go ahead and create those friendships. Music. Music is absolutely important in all of our lives, but especially somebody who is challenged cognitively, music adds so much to their life. So most adult programs will make sure that they have some kind of musical component, hopefully once a day. Exercise is very important. Exercise is important to get our bodies in order, to get the blood flowing through our bodies, but also to our brains. It kind of just sets the tone for the rest of the day, so that as you are going along through the day, you are open more cognitively to be able to maintain and retain more information than you may have periodically. Brain games could be something like playing war. Which card has the higher value? Maybe it's something like playing opposites. What's the opposite of high, low? It could be something more of, can we say hi in more than one language? And again, that's just something that the adult program should be engaging them to do so that they can keep as much skill as they possibly can. Art is another good way for them to be able to express themselves. Maybe they've lost the ability to handwrite. Maybe they've lost the ability to write their name. But if they are given something that they can still express themselves, that's something, again, that's going to go back to what Jess had mentioned earlier, is that purpose. So that's very good. Pet therapy is also, of course, very, very fun. We all see dogs, cats, baby birds, a raccoon. It doesn't even matter to us. If it's cute, we all go, oh, that's so cute. And it fills us with all of those feel-good feelings. And so a lot of adult programs will bring that in and incorporate that into their program to be able to do that for them. Games can be anything from a simple tic-tac-toe to a big Monopoly board. The important thing is that the staff at the day program reads the room and can see how they can maneuver that game and maneuver the rules and the skill set so that it can incorporate and engage everybody who's there, whether they are having a fantastic day or a not so fantastic day.
So I think, just to summarize this whole slide, the most important thing we're trying to focus on is make sure that when you're finding or looking for an adult day program for your loved one, that you find something that's engaging. Personally, if I'm going to pay money to send my loved one to a program, I don't just want them watching TV all day. That's really mindless. TV is not great for us. It's actually very bad for your brain. And so really engagement, I think, is going to be key at whatever level that person, that individual, is able to engage. I think it's important.
Absolutely.
Okay, so next slide, we're just going to talk about, back up one, please. Just other resources. So other resources that I mentioned, I highly recommend you get in contact with your local chapter of your Alzheimer's Association. They have a wealth of information for you, but really look for natural resources. That would include our friends, our neighbors, maybe support groups. If you're a member of a church or a congregation, I think really connecting with those people. And I know we as human beings, when someone say, how can I help? Often our first response is, I don't need help. I mean, we all do that. But I think it's an opportunity to allow someone to help you, which is almost can be a gift for that person that they're giving back. So really look for opportunities to utilize your natural resources. Again, family, friends, neighbors, whatever that might be. Home care, you may have heard the term home care. Home care agencies are typically non-medical. They come in your home and will just kind of watch or assist, maintain health and safety in your home. So that's another additional resource that you can look at. Often a adult daycare program may partner with a home care agency to have that home care come to your house, let's say in the morning, help get your loved one up, get them dressed, hygiene, have some breakfast, and then that home care agency can drive your loved one to the adult daycare center. So it's a good way that you can partner and utilize and maximize your time. Home health care. Home health care is a medical component in the sense you're going to look at physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. So those are going to be the therapies that come in that can assist your loved one. And I highly, highly recommend that you look at opportunities to connect your loved one with home health care. Home health, those therapies will typically be covered by your insurance. So it's just an extra resource that's going to help give you a little break, but also really help your loved one gain some strength, whether that be in their speech or in their balance. So depending on what your loved one needs, that home health can really be a great resource. And then hospice. I know hospice can often be a scary term, but hospice really has evolved and changed over the last couple of decades, where again, it's just when an individual is going through a decline, they can come in and assist to try to maintain and level out where your loved one's at. Typically, you're going to have a nurse assigned to you. You might have a shower aide that come in and can bathe your loved one. They have social workers, so they have a whole host. And again, hospice and or palliative care would be covered by your insurance. So it's just another really good resource for you all to keep in mind. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to the Alzheimer's Association that they do have a respite reimbursement program. That amount varies year to year, but again, that program is really geared towards giving you as a caregiver a break. And so they will reimburse for home care, so someone to come into your house, as well as reimburse for adult day programs. So that's just another resource for you to keep in mind. Something that's an extra nugget. That's a nice thing, I think.
It is. It definitely is something that has been fantastic for families. And just again, any kind of support is wonderful support. I think that especially here in New Mexico, the community that is around elderly care is very, very set apart from other communities. We are all here to help you, and we're all here to help your loved ones. So even if one may not be applicable or appropriate for one person, we will make sure that we're there to help you. And that is exactly what the Alzheimer's Association does. They want to back you up to make sure that you're where you're supposed to be.
Okay, any questions? Lori Escabel from the Alzheimer's Association put in the chat that the number for more information regarding the Alzheimer's Association Respite Reimbursement Program is 505-266-4473. Once again, that's 505-266-4473. Risa, you want to go to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
So wrapping up our presentation, we just wanted to give you all a little bit of information from our program specifically. As Risa and I'd mentioned, we're with Mayberry Senior Services. I'm the owner and Risa's the director. We are licensed with the Department of Health and the Board of Pharmacy, so we can assist with the medications if your loved one needs them during our time at program. We're open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5:30. As we mentioned, both Risa and I are certified dementia practitioners, so we're not exclusive to dementia individuals, but that is definitely our specialty and holds a special place in our heart, both professionally and personally. We offer flexible schedules, so you as the family truly get to set the schedule, whether that be 2 hours a month or 2 hours a week or 2 days a week. or full-time, we're really here for you as a family member. So we do not dictate that you have to be there half a day or a full day. We're really here to support you and your loved one in terms of whatever it is that your needs are. As we kind of alluded to, we are a very active program, so we don't just sit and hang out and watch TV. We really are intentional in focusing on cognitive, social, physical, and emotional support. And also supporting you as the caregiver of, again, those resources. How can we help and support you? Can we help with training in terms of redirection with your loved one at home? Or do you need additional resources that we can share with you? So we're really big on that. Our information is here on this last slide. If you would like to give us a call, 505-271-0000. We are located in Albuquerque, in the Northeast Heights, directly off of Eubank, close to Eubank in Spain. And if you say you saw our presentation here, give us a call and we will give you a $200 credit for sitting through our presentation.
Absolutely, because we do appreciate you and we appreciate your time. You being here today at this conference and at this breakout session just solidifies how much you really do want the best for yourself and how much you want the best for your loved one. And this is just a step forward. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We can help you, we can support you, we can give you resources. We just got a question that says, how do you approach a patient that is currently very frustrated about her condition? That's kind of a vague question because that could be from A to B, but really the bottom line about that is you are going to want to validate and then redirect. Redirection is beautiful. You know, if Jessica is having a hard afternoon and she just wants to go home and it's her time and she keeps asking me when her ride is going to be here, if I keep saying to her, your ride will be here in 20 minutes and also you have pretty hair, she's not going to feel heard. So if I can approach her eye to eye, they're going to mirror your tone. So make sure you're calm, make sure that you're positive. And I'm going to say something like, Jessica, thank you for coming to me. I understand that you are frustrated about what's going on right now. Sometimes I feel frustrated too. Tell me what you're frustrated about. We'll try to find a solution. And if the solution is that she wants to move back to Wisconsin, then maybe you say something like, we'll look into that. I will help you do that. While we're waiting for an answer, let's play cards. So that you are validating them and you're validating their feelings and they feel heard. You're offering them somewhat of a solution, even if it may not be immediate, but then you're redirecting them into something that they can put that kind of anxious energy into.
Also, Tony, in conjunction with that question about a patient being frustrated about her condition, such as lack of mobility or loss of mental capacity, again, as Risa said, definitely validate. Say, I would be frustrated too. That has to be very frustrating. I'm really sorry you're going through this, but really let's focus on what she can do. So look for the positives. So are there alternative things that she's able to do to contribute? Or again, give her a sense of purpose. So that if she feels like she's being purposeful in helping someone else or helping a neighbor or helping a child, I think that again is a form of redirection, but it's also that validation. So looking for purpose, I think, is also going to be important. There's another question in the chat here saying, my mom is such a recluse and doesn't want to engage with anyone. How do you break the ice about sending her to adult daycare? So how we would handle that situation is we would want you to come on in and tour, and we'd say, bring your mom. And you, again, are not going to say, hey, I'm dropping you off at the adult daycare. We would say, hey, come to the senior center, or they need help, or they might need a volunteer. So we have several individuals that think they're volunteering at our program, which again, gives that sense of purpose. She would be able to, in our program, engage as much as she wants, or maybe supervise. We would say, hey, can you just sit back and help supervise, so that she can kind of be included in the activity that we're doing, but also maybe sitting outside the group a little bit until she feels comfortable. So I think it's really important to make sure that she feels comfortable where she's at and that she feels safe. That's something with dementia that often will make our folks feel like they're not safe because they don't know what's coming next. And so really, again, just making sure that individual is feeling validated, make sure they're feeling heard. But again, in this situation where she's possibly not very social, is maybe just starting her really slow, giving her an opportunity to maybe help somebody else, giving her a purpose, and not throwing her directly into the group activity, but maybe having her sit a little bit on the outside and starting by observing. That might help.
Exactly. And along those lines, another thing that I have found with people who are a little more timid or a little less social, sometimes I would do something like, Kim, I would say to you, bring your mom in, but tell her that you and I are friends from college. A friend of mine from college started this community center, and she has these activities, and she's throwing a party on Friday for fall festival, or she is having a musician come in on Wednesday. And because she's just starting, she needs people to go and try it out, to tell her feedback on how that's going, because it's going to do two things. Again, it's going to give her purpose. She thinks she has a job that she needs to do while she's there, but also the fact that you and I are already friends and she trusts you, it's already going to open the door for her to be able to trust us. And so then that will create more of an inviting environment. It'll take away the anxiety a little bit. We've also had family members who even that may be too much asking for them. So they will say something to their families like, this is something your doctor has asked you to do for 30 days. Your doctor has prescribed this type of therapy to you. And after 30 days, we'll reassess, because a lot of people in that generation want to do what the doctor wants them to do. And so they are a little more willing to give it a try because they think that it is a prescription from an authority. And then once they're in, you know, I think the love and the purpose and the affection and the life that is there, it kind of just wins them over.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any other questions?
I just want to thank everyone for their time today. We really appreciate you and the work that you're doing. And if there's any way we can be of assistance, even if it's not through adult daycare, we're happy to answer any questions. If you want to give us a call, visit our website, send us an email. We are all about community and helping. So whatever we can do to assist you, we'd be happy to do so. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm proud for each and every one of you for giving your best every day, and you are giving your best. So that does not go unnoticed. Please check us out on Facebook or on Instagram. Both are just Mayberry Senior Services, and you can kind of see exactly what we're all about. And again, please don't hesitate to call if you need anything from us.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for attending this wonderful breakout session. Thank you, Jessica and Risa, for the amazing information. It was awesome. At this time, all the attendees, you are more than welcome to head to the next breakout session, which starts at 2:15. But other than that, thank you all, and I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.